What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I don't have a snappy turn on tonight. I'm just here with John, hanging out, ready to talk some Matlock. John, we haven't done a show since I got back from Monaco, have we?
Well, no, because internet gremlins messed everything up last week,
Yeah,
and
internet gremlins. They're just so rude. They just don't know.
they're not polite. And for those folks that were somewhat expecting a show, we apologize. Your internet went down, and the thing was, you were trying to text me, but I had shut my phone off, and so I wasn't aware of what the situation was on your end, and I was on my end going, what the heck's going on here, you know? So it was a big, giant catastrophe. We're happy to be back. So that's it. We think all the internet problems have been fixed. At least I hope so. Justin's back behind the curtain there, running everything. Jason and I are ready to talk about Matlock, and I think that we have a couple of comments. Already, man, out of the gates. We've only been doing this for a minute. We already have. Hey, Daniel, what's happening?
What is going on, Mr. Snow? He wished me a happy Thanksgiving, and I wished him one back, but I'm going to wish him one again. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and Black Friday, whatever Saturday is, Small Business Saturday, and tomorrow Cyber Monday. I wish you all the happy holidays, Daniel Snow.
Yeah, Daniel hit me up as well, and thanks, by the way, for the Road Warrior line there, of course. What a rush. Yeah, it's been a while, so let's talk, Jason. You were in Monaco for a while.
I was in Monaco, John, and I fell in love. I met the woman of my dreams. We went over this on Three Geeks, but this is a different audience, so I'm going to do it all here again. And her and I are going to get engaged. It's going to be fantastic. I have the picture on the screen. For all of our audio listeners, go jump over to @3geeksj on social media, and you can see the pictures there. But yeah, her and I, we are happy as can be. Her eyes match my jacket, and it may or may not be the reflection of my jacket in her eyes, but that doesn't matter, John.
What? In all honesty, what is that?
It is an alien statue from the hotel that me and Justin stayed at.
Okay.
Dude, I met some of the awesomest people. There's a photo of me and a couple of them. Let's see, I got some more here. That's our buddy Peter, who's been on Three Geeks many, many times. There's a posse. That's the worst photo of me. I don't know why this is the one I chose to share with everybody, but yeah, that was our posse. Me, Jamie, Ryan, Clint, Peter, Autumn, Amelia, Izzy, and Justin just hanging out at this restaurant in Monaco, man. It was a great time. It felt like a summer camp. All those people I just showed you in the photo. I don't know if you've met people where you suddenly click and it's like you've known each other forever. It was like that for every single one of them, and I think the feelings were very mutual. Justin and I have been talking to them daily since we got back, pretty much, and it's been a fun experience, man. I cannot wait to go back to Monaco next year and do it all again.
No, wait. Excited. That's confirmed, right? You two are going back, correct?
That is as confirmed as it can be at this moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, we are going back, and we're super stoked about it. Justin was so popular. Justin was popular, I gotta say. And I got to do karaoke, John. It was a lot of fun.
I looked up some information about Monaco because I knew just a little bit there. And I gotta say, I did not know it was one of the wealthiest countries on the face of the planet.
$25,000 a month, I think, is what Justin told me to live there is.
Yeah, it's outrageous, but it's cool that you got in on, because it was the first year that they did this, right? Because I was gonna say, I guess I didn't think that wealthiest zip code in the world, says Justin. Like I said, I just wouldn't imagine, and this is no slam on comic book fans or at all, or comic book conventions. I just didn't think a comic book convention or pop culture convention would be in the wealthiest country in the world. I would think they would be kind of snooty and drink tea with their pinky out and whatnot.
Dude, it was a fascinating experience. The concept of splitting a check was so foreign to them. Like they didn't understand us wanting to split the check amongst each other. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I can't express that enough. I'm so thankful to Lanny Serum for asking me and Justin to go, and so happy that I got to go.
Cool. I think we have another comment from our friend Daniel Snow. If Justin can put that up there. Praying my fiance.
Did we know he was engaged?
Yeah, I did not know you were engaged, Daniel, to be honest with you. Happy congratulations on that. I did not know that you were engaged. Our bad. I'll speak for both of us. We're sorry.
Yeah, way to just casually announce that for us. And then he wrote, "My fiance will forgive me for buying the entire series of Gunsmoke." They'll forgive you, man. Always ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah.
Remember, I've been divorced twice, Daniels. Don't take my advice.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, Jason, what you watching right now, man?
What am I not watching, John? I'm watching it all, my friend. I am watching it all. I've been watching some really good Christmas movies. Hot Frosty on Netflix was surprisingly good. The title makes it sound like it's going to be awful. I thought it was going to be awful. I watched it on the flight and I enjoyed it. There's a new Lindsay Lohan movie that I really liked too. It's the last of her Netflix contract, and I didn't like the first two, but this one I kind of dug. I'm trying to think of what it was called. Hold on one second. I have it right here. It was called Our Little Secret. Was pretty good. And then I watched a rom-com on Amazon called Love Switch. Dude, that was funny. It was right after I was talking about how icky body switch movies are, but this one's about a husband and a wife switching spots, so the ickiness wasn't there. But the actor being when he's his wife in his body and when she is him in her body, the way they change their voices. And I laughed so much. I had no idea this movie existed. I'm sure nobody's seen it, but if you got that special someone and you want to watch a good and funny movie, I recommend Love Switch. It was a hidden gem for sure.
Okay, well, I have something here that is kind of not per se TV or movie related. It's live entertainment. Okay. Not this past Friday.
You do yours first, and I got one more thing.
Okay. All right. Not this past Friday, but the previous Friday, the 22nd of November. I had purchased tickets, and I know that we have not talked about this. I've kept this secret from you, and actually kept it secret from all of the three geeks. I went to go see a burlesque parody called The Empire Strips Back. It was fantastic. Let me just explain that. Now I know what you're saying. You're like, ooh, burlesque. That's a little spicy. It is, but it's also very campy. It was tongue in cheek. It was high energy. It was great. I cannot brag enough about how awesome this parody burlesque show is. If you are a Star Wars fan, you need to check it out, man. I can't even say what you just put in the chat, Justin. I don't think that would be too kosher. I don't know. But it was awesome. The production value was top notch. They had their own giant Jabba the Hutt with working mouth, tongue, arms, eyes. They had a giant land speeder on stage, so they could do some. They did a number with that. They did one with the Emperor swinging on the Death Star as Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball played in the background. It was fantastic. TheEmpireStripsBack.com is the web address. They're out on tour. I think they're done on the East Coast for right now. They're going out on the West Coast. But folks, it was fun. It was my only gripe was the theater that it was in had us like elbow to elbow with people. Like there was no room to move. It was, even though there were chairs, like you were squashed in there. That was my only gripe, but I highly recommend it. So that's what I'm watching, live burlesque theater, not a TV show, though I am still working on Homicide: Life on the Street. But anyways.
Well, two things. One, speaking of Homicide, the original Law and Order, for the first time ever, all 20 seasons are coming to streaming in 2 weeks. So I'm kind of stoked for that. And I saw Wicked, and I just want everybody to go see Wicked. That movie was phenomenal. Best movie of the year. I'll be surprised if it doesn't win awards. I felt like I was in a Broadway show. It would just I said this on Three Geeks, so I'm going to say it again. The cinematography, the acting, the costume design, the music, just the story, the pacing, all of it. And Jeff Goldblum does a musical number in it, guys. Go see this movie. It is, I cannot wait to see it again and again and probably again.
Where is Law and Order going to be streaming? Because I know that that's probably tied up in rights with NBC, TNT, et cetera, et cetera.
Hulu.
Is it on Hulu? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because they're also showing it on BBC
Right.
and all that. So okay, Hulu. Cool. All right. Well, Jason, we got a comment from Dan. So if Justin can pull that up real quick, please. Loving some season 10 of Dallas, but gonna hate the cliffhanger ending. Is season 10, Daniel, when the one character could not stand, and I don't remember the kid's name, but I remember the actor's name, Sasha Mitchell. Is that when he joined as, I believe, one of the illegitimate kids of JR? Because
Hey, you leave Sasha Mitchell alone. That guy was a treasure. Kickboxer 2 was fantastic. Step by Step, he was fantastic. I've never seen Dallas, but on Step by Step, he was great.
No, he was even a bigger buffoon on that show. Anyways, I didn't like the guy. There was something about him that I was like, yeah, I don't think he's really acting. I think he's really that swarmy in real life, but
he's not actually.
How do you know that?
Because I've seen him in interviews and stuff.
Oh, you've seen him in movies. I thought maybe you met him while you were in Monaco.
I wish I'd met Sasha Mitchell. I love Sasha Mitchell.
All right. Well, enough of this bantering. Are you ready to get into our episode here of Matlock?
I am, John. I am.
Then let's go ahead and let's get into our opening statements. The name of the episode is The Strangler, and its original air date was October 25th, 1991. It's very close to Halloween, which, though there's no Halloween tie-in whatsoever. But anyways, we do have a few guest stars, ladies and gentlemen. First, playing the role of Jeffrey Spidell is a gentleman by the name of Richard Gilliland. You may also know him as Purvis in Airplane 2, J.D. Shackelford on Designing Women, Dr. Avedon on Desperate Housewives, Mr. Reeves on Party of Five, Jeffrey Milgram on 30-something, Tom Stafford on Heartland, and many, many more TV shows and movies. He's got a very lengthy IMDb page.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, first of all. Secondly, Airplane 2 is so underrated. I think Airplane 2 is so funny.
I need a rewatch of Airplane 2. I really do.
That's becoming more of a popular opinion now, Airplane 2 being underrated. But it is funny. It's not as good as the original, but it is still a funny movie. Rest in peace to Jim Abrams also.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, rest in peace to Jim Abrams, who just died a couple days ago at, 79?
I think so.
I think he was somewhere in his late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, he was also in Murder, She Wrote.
But not a Perry Mason. So,
no.
All right. Daniel's got another comment for us here. Season 10 is when Pam Ewing hit the tanker. Oh, I remember that. Oh, there were so many great cliffhangers in 80s soap operas. But you know what? Let's talk about another guest star here who has quite a few credits as well to her name. Her name is Catherine Cannon, and that name may sound familiar because she's done a lot of roles on Matlock. As a matter of fact, she was Linda Coolidge in Season 1, Episode 1, Diary of a Perfect Murder. She was also Dr. Sarah Perlman on Season 2, Episode 9, called The Best Friend. And she was Susan O'Malley, Season 4, Episode 20, also known as The Informer. But she also has played Felice Martin on Beverly Hills 90210, Dottie Dixon on Black Sheep Squadron. She's had one-offs on Mike Hammer, Empty Nest, Murder, She Wrote, and as I said, about 60 or 70 other credits to her name. Our next one is Stephen Gilborn, who will be playing the role of Leo Kasabian. He has done some work in the video game world as a voiceover actor in the Aliens Resurrection video game series. He's also starred as Judge Gilder in Evolution, Mr. Collins on The Wonder Years, Dr. Sam Livak in Dr. Dolittle, Uncle Rory on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, ADA Gavin Bullock on The Practice, Mark Breslin on one of your favorite shows, Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place, Dr. Chris Carlisle in Get Real, and about 100 other roles as well.
Yeah, man, rest in peace to him as well. He was in a Very Brady sequel, that is another underrated series of spoofs, is the Brady Bunch movie and the sequel.
Well, let's talk about another individual. In fact, our final guest star is Dana Gladstone, who will be playing the role of Agent Freed, an FBI agent, by the way. He is also known as Prosecutor Hobbs in Season 2, Episode 6, The Power Brokers. And he played the role of Eric von Stromheim in several Young Indiana Jones projects. He's had roles in Hill Street Blues, Murder, She Wrote, Knight Rider, L.A. Law, NYPD Blue, and a ton of other credits to his name as well. All right. Any comments on any of those guest stars, sir?
Not really. Just
Okay.
I love Beverly Hills Cop too.
Where's Beverly Hills Cop 2? Was that where Dana Gladstone was in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered that. Is that the one with the bananas in the tailpipes, or is that the first one?
I haven't seen them in a while. I need to go back and revisit them. I plan on doing it because I haven't watched the fourth one yet, and I've heard good things about the fourth one. So I plan on going back and watching at least the first two.
Okay. All right. Well, Jason, it's time for me to ask the question. The only question that matters. Okay, testify!
I did take Dark Sea Yarn off of our scroller, but everybody go check out at Dark Sea Yarn on all social medias for our friend Liz.
And by the way, don't forget that you can check us out on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast, and you can email us if you have any questions about this episode or any episode for that matter. And that was
BNMATTALK and we at gmail.com, and we will be coming soon to Blue Sky. I'm going to set that up soon because I like Blue Sky. It makes me happy.
Okay. All right. Daniel has another quick comment here. That was the first BHC.
Beverly Hills Cop. John looks so confused reading that.
Okay.
Daniel.
I was, dude. I was completely baffled. I'm like, what? I was not hip to the abbreviation, dude. Although, in fairness, Daniel, you should see when I take notes, because I take notes by hand in a notebook. My abbreviations are quite unusual as well. So I shouldn't be causing you flack. Anyways, the plot for this episode: The Strangler. Ben plays a game of cat and mouse with a murderer when he defends his accountant. Opening scene: we see Marta, which is, by the way, Marta is the mass transit system in Atlanta. All right. So it's a Marta train. We see the skyline of Atlanta. We see an office building, and we go in to it, and we see that Ben is at his accountant's office, and he's doing an edit. An edit. Let's try that again. He's doing an audit. I'm sure Ben would much prefer to be editing something, not being audited. Wouldn't you say so, Jason?
Yes, and I was really happy to see this because this is like the first piece of continuity we've had in this show, because a few episodes back he was getting his taxes done, and kind of get to see that payoff. That was last season, wasn't it? The end of last season that he was getting his taxes done. Anyway, it wasn't very many episodes ago, and we got to see his taxes getting done, and I thought that was, or audited for the taxes that he had just gotten done. So I liked it, and plus we get to see how cheap he really is.
That was 2 episodes ago. The Celebrity actually is where that started, where he had the shoebox and thousands of dollars. I like that they started arguing about that you can't write off clothing. All right. And that Ben goes, a suit makes a statement.
Yeah. $2,000 for the suits. Yikes.
Yes. I also enjoy the fact that he's, I got receipts. I'll bring receipts. And he says it in such a way that he's like, yeah, receipts, I have those. Mm-hmm, yes. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't.
But he does.
All right.
We'll find that out soon.
We'll find that out, should. Here we got another Liz chiming in with some expertise here. Ben should listen to his tax professional just saying that suit is not a deduction. That suit, or the multitude of suits that he purchased, because he didn't buy just one. He bought a couple of them.
Dude, I was paying attention to this episode. I'm like, if he's getting his suits deducted, I have a whole wardrobe of character t-shirts that I wear that just add to my character at work, that I would get all of those deducted. It'd be fantastic.
Justin just said his tailor is also his accountant. So, yeah, well, we go to a scene where Patricia Downey and Jeffrey, they emerge from her office. Patricia says, I need to see Leo, because Leo was the accountant that Ben has. Basically, it is that, Patricia and Jeff, they have a thing going on. They have a thing. They're setting something up, a little sexy time. They're setting up 7:00 for dinner at the Fairview Hotel. And there you go. And then we cut to a scene where Leo is calming Ben down as they leave his office and walking to the door. He's like, don't worry about the audit. Everything will be fine. It'll be cool. Don't worry about it, et cetera, et cetera. I think we have another comment from Daniel. I must say I've used MARTA, and this episode is way better than the actual service. I wasn't going to say anything because I took MARTA one time. I have a friend that lives in Atlanta, and my experience with MARTA was not great either. It was kind of a dumpy train, is all I'm going to say. I mean, I would say it's clearly not as good as Washington, D.C.'s subway. I think that's the nicest subway I've ever been on. So take that for what it's worth. We go into Patricia asking Leo to come into our office to discuss something. And basically, she hits him with, hey, man, have you been embezzling money? Because I'm missing $12,000. And yet, according to your bank, you deposited $12,000 that day. And he's like, no, I didn't do it. It's got to be a computer error. I did not do it. No, absolutely not. And so they argue about it. And you get a hint that the secretary is eavesdropping outside, because obviously that's what you do as a secretary. And I think that that's pretty much foreshadowing that she's going to have a little something to say as time goes on in this episode. So Leo gets fired by Patricia and he storms out. All right. So Jason, what do you think of this first, I'd say, section of the episode so far?
I'm not trusting the one guy, and
Who?
I feel bad for Ben's accountant. The boyfriend.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
No.
He just seems like a slimy individual.
He does. He's kind of gross, kind of slimy. Yes. Well, let's see if that opinion changes, because we cut to the hotel and room service arrives at the door. And then, of course, it's the hotel room of Jeffrey and Patricia. And he can hear Jeffrey yelling at Patricia, supposedly. Knocks on the door. They open the door. And Jeffrey's like, hey, just put it over there. Sorry. And then he continues to knock on the bathroom door with the shower running. Oh, get out here. Let's go. And the room service guy leaves. By the way, have you ever done room service, Jason? Ever?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never done it. I've stayed in many, many hotels. I've never had room service.
No offense, John, but you're very similar to Ben Matlock, so I could totally see you not ordering room service. I did it because I had a date night and I had a coupon. My cousin worked at the hotels, so I had a free room service coupon.
Wait a minute. Can we back up just a minute? Did you say one free omelet? Justin just wants to know what kind of eggs you like. Wait, time out. You were at a date night and you used a coupon on a date night?
It was married, so yeah, we were both all for the coupons.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were married. So, okay. Never mind then. I was just going to say, you called me cheap, and then you're using a coupon. That's kind of not, that's not 100% kosher, as they would say,
Well, when I was in Monaco, I got a $10 can of pop out of the fridge. It was 3 a.m. Nothing was open. I was freaking thirsty for something cold, and it sounded good.
Oh, man. They got you hook, line, and sinker, dude.
They did. I mean, it wasn't much more expensive than the Cokes in Monaco in general, so.
All right, well, using a Daniel has a comment. I've already seen it. Using a coupon is totally Matlock. Yeah, that would be. Totally.
I want the episode of Matlock where he's clipping the coupons.
You know what? Speaking of coupons, do you get Valpak in the mail?
Yes. And I always say I'm going to start using them, and I never use them.
Same here, dude. Same here. And they just end up in the garbage. A brick of paper. Yes, you are correct, Justin. It is like a brick of paper. You could probably kill somebody with that Valpak coupon envelope.
All my mail goes straight to recycling because I do everything online.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's get back to it. Patricia's in the bathroom, supposedly. And after the room service guy leaves, Jeff enters and he shuts off the shower. No one's in there. No one is in there. So,
no, it was weird. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I was like, this is something bizarre, right? Like, I thought maybe he had already killed her somewhere else, and this was like his alibi. So Patricia's on the phone with Leo at her home. All right, this happens the next day, and Jeff appears, and he's got himself I don't know what it's called, a karat, I believe is pronounced. That's how it's pronounced. It's basically a piece of wire to strangle you with, and he kills Patricia. So I was gonna say that I guess Jason makes your analysis of him 100% accurate. Scumbag, lunatic, crazy.
But let me. Okay, I watched this episode twice because I watched it last week. I'm like, well, I got to refresh my mind, and I watched it again yesterday. She just stands there and watches him put the gloves on. Like,
yeah,
like what is happening? Like, leave. You're not that far from the door.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, why are you putting gloves on inside the house? And it's the South, so it's not that cold out anyways. I think you would have to use gloves.
And you're in the kitchen. Grab a pot. She just like lets him choke her.
There's knives somewhere in that kitchen that you could use. I don't know. I just thought, I'm with you on that. I was like, she's just sitting there watching him put gloves on. And she does ask him, what are you doing? I don't want to leave fingerprints. At that point, you should have been running. All right. You should have been running. You should not have had him. Because he even pulls the thing out, the karat out. And he's like, I'm like, dude.
And technically, he doesn't really need to even worry about fingerprints because they were dating. So his fingerprints being there is explainable.
Yes, you can explain that away. Now, his fingerprints on the karat, that,
That's fair. I forgot. He does use that to try to set the other guy up.
Yeah.
But she just like stands there and watches him like it's a Broadway show. What are you doing? No. No,
by the way, feel free, if anybody's watching, if I'm not pronouncing that implement correctly, just throw it in the chat. Drop us a message. I think it's called karat, I think. Mm-hmm. But anyways, well, Jason, after the murder of Patricia, Patricia's dead. Leo arrives, and he finds her dead on the floor. All right. Comment from Dan. Okay. All right. And comment from Liz. All right. Let's see. What is it? Let me get there. How bizarre. Totally an OMC reference. How bizarre. Do. Anyways, it's a garrote. They just said it weird. Okay. Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. By the way, Daniel, I have in my past that song, How Bizarre, takes me back to an incident that happened when I was a young man that kind of was a little bit scary. It was a drunk driving incident, but more on that later, some other time. Or they could be saying carrot weird. That's what Justin said. But I'm going to trust Liz on this one. Bugs Bunny trying to kill people. Well, if you just make that left turn at Albuquerque. Anyways, so the cops arrive, and they think it's a serial killer because the Roman numeral 2 is on their forehead. Brooks interviews Leo. Leo says, well, look, I mean, we did have an argument. She accused me of embezzlement. And then Albert Freed, the FBI agent, the G-man, if you will, arrives. And he's like, hey, this is a copycat. This is not the actual serial killer that we're looking for. But unbeknownst to Leo, they have found the murder weapon in his car. And so as he leaves, he is booked or arrested, excuse me. Comment from Dan. All right, let's see what Dan has to say here. I have that CD, sadly. Yes. It was a one-hit wonder of the 90s. It certainly was. How bizarre. All right. So the murder weapon was found in Leo's car, and then he's booked for murder. Mrs. McCardle's back.
I knew you were going to hate this. I just don't understand why she's still employed, because Ben obviously doesn't like her.
Thank you.
Another reason you and Ben are both so alike is neither one of you guys like her, but you would have fired her. Actually, you probably would never even hired her, but you definitely would have fired her by now.
Correct. Yes. So Mrs. McCardle and Ben argue about receipts because McCardle, she said she recycled some of the receipts. I'm like, that's not a safe thing to do. You're supposed to shred them or at least rip them in half or into multiple little pieces. You just can't recycle credit card receipts out in the regular recycling. What's wrong with you? He's still mad that he can't, he being, of course, Ben, is still mad because he can't find the box of receipts. And she's like, look, I moved them into the closet because you don't put receipts in the kitchen. All right, you don't. And there's where I would agree with McCardle on that one. I don't believe that receipts should be in the kitchen. All right. So Leo calls and Ben goes to police headquarters. So Leo and Ben discuss the facts of the case. Leo offers to do his taxes forever if he just would do this for free. And
Ben is just obsessed with his taxes for this entire interview.
Oh, he is. Right. I'm like, you have a case in front of you. You pay attention, man. And then we cut to a scene where Jeff is going through some type of dossier, and he has all this write-up about Ben and pictures of Ben and all that jazz. And I wrote down, Ben is a target. Jason, did you think that Ben was a target as well by this point?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. So we go to a scene where Albert Freed chats with Ben and basically says, look, our guy's a neat freak. Men were his target. He smokes cigars. He carves the number 2 into their skin. But, this guy's got to be a copycat. He attacked a woman. He kind of doesn't, he's not as careful to clean up the scene, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was very concerned. I was very interested into what the Roman numeral 2 had to do with the mystery, to be honest with you. So Ben doesn't believe it's Leo. And Conrad comes into the office and he chats with the secretary that was at the accountant's office, at Leo's office. I like how her biggest concern is having to find another job. Not so much that Leo is convicted or been accused, of embezzlement. Not that Patricia's dead. Not that any of that other stuff. She's concerned about her own self. She is quite selfish, is she not?
Hey, man, employment's important. Everybody's focused on the wrong things in this episode. Ladies watching herself get killed. Ben's obsessed with his taxes. This lady just wants to find out where she's going to work. I mean, that one I understand a little bit more. I'd be concerned.
Yeah. Well, I wrote down here, she said, and I quote, "It's a middle of a recession and I lost my job." So CM, a.k.a. Conrad McMasters, he questions Edna. All right. And Edna, regarding Patricia and Jeff's meeting the night before. Edna, of course, is the secretary. All right, we'll get to that, Justin, in just one quick moment here. We have another comment. Ben is at Spadel's office in the 2 chat, and I wrote down Jeff is really laying it thick. All right. He asked really about Ben's wife, which I thought this was really good. This was really well done because it was a slick move, get Ben off of his game. Andy Griffith did a great job of playing like he was hurt to talk about it. It was very well done. I thought it was good. Okay, now let's hear what Dan has to say here. Daniel, well, spoiler alert, but Ben will be a target. Well, I think most of us that are watching this presentation, this show, would probably have already figured that out. Yeah, he's going to be a target for sure. So Conrad, he talks to the room service guy, and then Ben and McCardle talk about the case. McCardle tells us, there's no trust with human beings. There's a very odd payment thing that goes on with Ben and Mrs. McCardle. I just don't get Mrs. McCardle. Sorry. I know you're going to give me flack on that, Jason, but again,
it's fine. It's just that this episode was the point where I'm like, why doesn't Ben just fire her? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't get it either because she's always like mouthing off, so to speak, and like trying to one up him or tell him how something is not done the right way. All right, so we get Conrad making a phone call to Ben on his car phone. So that probably ran him $37 plus tax.
Per minute.
Per minute, yeah, of course. Can he write that off? We don't know anything about Conrad's taxes.
I believe so, because it'd be a business call.
It would be a business call. I think so. So, anyways, Ben bursts into Jeff's office, right? Like, he just barges in. And he was like, "You were at the hotel the night before the murder, all right? You've been suspicious." He throws all this stuff at him, and then eventually, like, Jeff raises his voice. It was like, "I'm not taking this anymore. You're wrong, blah, 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 blah," and Ben leaves, right? The next scene that we see a shot of Ben and Conrad coming out of Ben's house. And all of a sudden, Jeff rolls up in his Jaguar. And he tries to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I've been under a lot of stress, blah, 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 blah. But then when Ben brings up some facts and turns the conversation towards his way of thinking, Jeffrey's all of a sudden like snippy with him and then peels out in his Jaguar. All right. This I thought was going to be interesting because now he knows where Ben lives. And I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen. All right. So Jeffrey spills the beans about Leo meeting with Patricia, right? And and the comment, that angers Jeffrey, I knew I had it written down here, was that Ben said something about having Patricia locked in a shower. All right, and that angers Jeff, and that's when Jeffrey peels out after he already mentioned about the embezzling to Ben, and so there you go. Sorry, I had to clean that one up. One thing though that they do mention, Ben mentions that Jeff's car is dirty, and there hasn't been any rain. All right, no rain. So you can't. That's right. All the spots. Because as you know, you can never blame it on the rain, says Milli Vanilli.
Well, they didn't really say it. Other people said it.
Bravo.
They just opened their mouths and moved them.
Awesome. Anyways, we go back to... Oh, no, wait, excuse me. Before we go back to the Ben's house, we think that maybe a callback from before is that there's sprinklers going off at the house that Patricia owned, and that's giving us a clue that maybe the Jaguar, had been parked out there by the sprinklers.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go back to Ben's house, and McCardle is sweeping, and Ben and her again discuss the status of this. Man, if I was a judge or a prosecuting attorney, I would be like, hey, he runs his mouth to everybody about court stuff. I mean, isn't there no attorney-client privilege? I mean, right? Especially McCardle. She would be a blabbermouth. All right, we go to the courtroom. Jeffrey's on the stand. He admits to the relationship with Patricia. Ben brings up the argument that they've had, or that they've had many arguments. Jeff denies it. Patricia was not there. Jeffrey claims that Patricia switched from the hotel to a restaurant instead of, meeting at the hotel. And that Jeffrey has a picture of him, the chef of that restaurant, and, of course, Patricia. So there we go. There's some damning evidence for Ben. So then the other piece of evidence that's brought up is that the neighbor saw Jeff's car parked at Patricia's house around 7:15. But Jeff was like, that's not possible. My car was in the shop at Doug Harding Motors. So from that, we then go to a scene where it's the end of the day. There's a continuance or whatnot. And there's a just complete 3-ring circus outside with the press. All right. So let's get another comment from Dan. Girl, I'm going to miss you.
How does it feel to be humiliated on the stand, Ben?
Yeah, how's that feel, man? Anyways.
Lousy.
Yeah, lousy. I wanted them to turn it into a hip-hop mix. Lousy. That would be a great mix. Or even techno music. That would even... Lousy. All right, we cut to Conrad going undercover to look for clues. All right, he's at the hotel. He finds cigars. Meanwhile, at the police headquarters, Brooks, Freed, Ben, they all discuss the evidence about the cigars, right? And so Ben needs to find files on the serial killer, right? Like he needs them. And so after, pleading his case, Bob Brooks goes, okay, fine, here you go. All right. Meanwhile, we cut to a scene where Jeffrey is watching the news footage and he keeps rewinding it, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, we're making fun of it. Lousy. Conrad and Ben compare notes. Jeffrey flunked out of Harvard. So the Ivy League snob that you think he is not quite that snob. And then Conrad leaves and Ben chases him, but to no avail. He does not get a hold of Conrad.
Well, we don't know that for sure because it cuts to black.
That's true. That's very true. You're right. We don't because, we'll come up with that in a minute here. And I wrote down, again, no one locks their doors in Atlanta. Really? I think that should be something you should do.
Well, it was the 80s, man. I mean, I guess it was the 90s at this point, but not. I mean, there are people that still left their doors unlocked back then.
I know. I had a girlfriend whose parents, they lived in suburban Cleveland. They never locked their front door. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is how you end up with stuff stolen. But
yeah, man, I keep my doors locked all the time.
Yeah, same with me. I mean, the only time that they might be unlocked is when I'm here because I forgot to lock them. That's the only time they're unlocked.
I'm precious cargo. I don't want anybody to take me.
I don't want anybody to take you either, because then Justin and I will get phone calls about if we ever want to see you again, we have to come up with $50,000, and I don't have that type of cash, man.
You think I'm only worth $50,000? You think that's all they would try to get from you?
Justin says he won't pick up. He's just going to think it's a spam call. So $50,000? I mean,
that's only 2 months in Monaco, man. I feel like I'm worth more than 2 months in Monaco. Wow, John.
Is that now? Wait a minute. Is that your baseline?
Yeah.
When you go and get gas. When you go and get gas, do you tell the attendant, you're like, hey, man, let me just tell you, this is cheaper than over in Monaco. Anyways.
That's funny you say that, man, because the cheapest car on like the roads in Monaco was a Mercedes.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of Ferraris and yeah. Very nice.
Wow.
Anyway,
okay.
Continue.
Was there any Lamborghinis?
I don't know that I saw one. Well, I saw like a yes. Justin says yes.
Okay. All right. And some rolls.
Yeah, Rolls Royces.
I had some rolls for dinner on Thursday. I mean, Rolls Royce. Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. So Ben falls asleep, and we cut to a scene where ominously Jeffrey's just smoking a cigar, like watching him as he's rocking back and forth in his rocking chair. And then Jeff.
That's not creepy at all. I'm surprised the smoke didn't wake Ben up sooner.
Yeah.
That's a lot of smoke that he's blowing in there.
Exactly. And I'm sorry if I'm going to offend anybody that's a cigar fan. I have several of my families, but cigar smoke stinks. I'm sorry. It does.
Hey, I think it's wonderful. And I've been so tempted to smoke a cigar since I've been in Monaco. And then watching that, it's just like, oh, so good. What is up, Corey? Sorry, I kind of the chat. How you doing, buddy? We still got to get him on the show. We
do. All right, so Jeff gloats like every maniacal bad guy does. He explains everything. Whole plan about like how he wanted him. Is he going to now take Ben and tie him up on the railroad tracks? I hope so. That would be awesome. And you know what? I just think that I just mentioned something that's going to happen in the next episode. I swear to God. Because I think the next episode's the nightmare, and I think that actually happens in the nightmare. I can't remember because it's been a minute since I've watched the nightmare, but I think that happens. So something to look forward to in 2 weeks.
Nice.
All right, Dan has another comment here. Cash rules everything around Matlock. I know.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know it. We would play the song, but we get dinged every time we play the song, so... Even though it's a remix, Daniel, I took a lot of time to remake it. So, but anyways, I digress. Let's get on with revealing master plans and whatnot. Is Jeff the copycat? That's my question, because they talk about something about like a councilwoman and then a Bill Davis that they died under mysterious consequence or situations. And it wasn't really clear. Were they victims of Jeff? I mean, I guess it's kind of left up to be a little bit nebulous.
No, they were. I kind of picked up on that. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Okay. Liz has a comment here. I don't think there's a railroad, but I am also excited for the nightmare. Okay. All right. I swore that I remember that, but all right. That's all right. We'll find out in a couple weeks. Jeff tries to strangle Ben. Yes, he does. And then the cops and Conrad burst in, man. It was all a setup. And I like how the Bob Brooks is like, I'll blow you to bits. Like, I'm like, yeah.
I mean, they let him choke Ben for a minute.
Yeah. They had to make sure that he was good and choked, if you will.
We should go in there. Nah, he'll be fine. Just let him dirt for a couple more seconds.
Yeah, we're good. And so actually that is pretty much Google says it happens in the abduction in season 6. Justin, did you look that up? So there is a train track incident.
Nice. That's why
I
we
knew
have the
there was
producer.
one.
Yeah, fact checker.
Awesome. This is why Justin rules. That's why he's the best producer in podcasting.
And the most popular guy in Monaco.
Yeah, I want to know. Why he's the most popular guy in Monaco. That's a story.
Man. He was talk of the town.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how did they lure Jeffrey to the house? Because they kind of overlooked that one. We now know that Ben tried to get a hold of Conrad, and it faded to another episode.
I don't think they lured him into the house. I think they kind of figured that he was going to come for him because they figured out his MO. Like, he likes to humiliate. Ben figured out that he likes to humiliate people, and then he goes in for the kill. So he probably just assumed that he would show up eventually at night.
Okay. Well, Brooks tells Ben that the case is not 100% locked up because Jeff didn't really admit to anything. All right. The way he worded things, could have been taken as just, conjecture, or it's actually, something that he was interested in doing. So I wrote down, he is the Southside Strangler.
Yeah, he definitely is. But no, because they said we can get him on attempted murder.
Yeah, right. Which that still would probably be a hefty sentence. I mean, right? I mean, attempted murder? I mean, it's not murder 1 or murder 2. But Ben has an idea. So we go to the courtroom. Jeffrey's on the stand again. Jeffrey rented a different Jag to throw Ben off the scent. All right. Just like he did with the hotel and the shower and all that jazz. This is all elaborate ruse. But Ben's prepared. Ben has contacted the dealership, which, if I remember correctly, is out of town. It's out in Savannah, if I remember correctly. He rented a different Jaguar. So that, in fact, his Jaguar was in the shop, but he had another Jaguar. That's why there was the scene of his car being parked out front of Patricia's house. And so that leads to the big face-off between Jeffrey and Ben Matlock, which ends up with Ben getting the victory and Jeffrey going off to jail. All right. Is there anything that I missed?
No, man. You covered it pretty well.
All right. With that, then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our closing statements.
This is the part of the podcast where John and I will rate the show on a gavel system. 1 gavel means we did not really enjoy it. 5 gavels means we loved it. Positive 100 gavels means John and I are retiring and moving to Monaco. I'm going to go first, and I give this episode a 5. It was a lot of fun. I kind of wish this had been a 2-parter because I think there's more they could have explored within the story. But it hit all the right bells for me, and it was a really fast watch. I really, really dug it. Yeah, I mean, I really, really dug it. The marks on the forehead reminded me of the movie The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Have you ever seen that? No. Peter Jackson directed.
No.
But yeah, it was good stuff.
Well, they did mention, Ben mentioned in one of his face-offs with Jeffrey, I think it was the one when he was going to be choked in his bedroom, that meant plaintiff, like it was Greek for some plaintiff designation. So you gave it 5. I'm with
5.
you.
A rare 5 for me. Yep.
I'm going with a 5 as well. I thought it was a great opponent for Ben. I liked that there was somebody that could almost beat him. I thought the twists and turns were good. I thought Richard Gilliland did a fantastic job as Jeffrey. I thought he was creepy when he had to be creepy. He was maniacal. My only gripes, Mrs. McCardle. And maybe too, I think that the ending could have been a little bit more crystal clear. I think it was still a little bit nebulous, especially with the other murders and the switching of the car and that. It was a little bit confusing, but not confusing enough that I didn't think it deserved a 5 because I thought it was a very solid episode. And I agree with you, a quick watch. It seemed like it went by like that. So
both times.
All right, with that, Jason, we're getting up there to about an hour, so we want to start wrapping things up here. So what's happening, man, with the 3 Geeks podcast?
Guys, this Saturday we are taking a break off YouTube for the weekend, but we will be doing a live show via Podbean. We'll be doing a live audio show 4 p.m. Saturday, live from GalaxyCon. John will be joining us for that. And then coming soon in the next couple of weeks, Justin and I will start releasing the interviews that we've been backpiling, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear them.
By the way, this I think will probably be maybe not a reference many people in the chat today get. I think Daniel will, but yes, I am the Jimmy Garvin to their fabulous Freebirds. So, anyways, yeah, click that QR code there. Absolutely. Hey, I'm going to be down at GalaxyCon as well, joining these guys for the panel at 4:00. It's going to be fun. I love doing panels. I can't wait to peruse the floor. Hit that QR code and you can subscribe to my website, thepvdcast.com, or pvdcast.com, excuse me. And definitely check it out. I have a double feature episode this week with two individuals, two great comic book creators by the name of Fennec and Tony Ferrando. They both have some really cool stuff. Tony's doing an Everybody Hates Raymond comic. So I don't know if that would make you angry, Jason, or not, because I know that you kind of dig Everyone Loves Raymond.
Me? No, I'm not really a big Ray Romano fan. I find his voice obnoxious.
Who's Justin? Are you the fan of Everybody Loves Raymond? Yeah. Okay. So it was Justin, not you. Okay. All right. Oh,
I like the spinoff King of Queens.
King of Queens. 5 from me. Richard was also on the Waltons. Oh yeah. And I remembered him from Designing Women. To be honest with you, I remember him from that show. By the way, let's let folks know where they can get in touch with us before we close it out. So what do you say, Jason? Where can they email us?
You guys can email us at benmattalk@gmail.com.
And, of course, you can find us on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast and hit that QR code for Dark Sea Yarn. Liz, our friend, our guest star from a couple of episodes ago, has got some cool stuff going on. Check it out. Dark Sea Yarn.
Supporter of us, so I want to make sure we support her in return. And, guys, come hang out with us. I cannot wait to meet Weird Al Yankovic. Max and I are going to pay the money, get our photo taken with him. He's going to be at GalaxyCon. I kind of want to meet Logic as well because I'm a big fan of his. So I am super stoked for GalaxyCon this week. It's the first time I've ever been to a con they've had musicians.
I know. I only have one. I want to meet Michael Jai White because I love Black Dynamite.
I know you do.
Yeah.
That rhymed.
All right. Huh?
That rhymed.
All right. Anyways, with that, then let's get on out of here, Jason.
All right. As they say in court,
nothing further.